If someone were to ask me, what are some of your favorite chapters in the Bible? Not verses, chapters. Romans 12 is probably in my top 10. It is just loaded with great Christian teaching, and it's a wonderful summary of what is expected of each of us as a follower of Christ. And as we talk about hope this week, I want to direct your attention to Romans 12 and to the section which is in verses 9 through 13. And our verse for the day is Romans 12:12. That's easy to remember, right? 12:12, where Paul writes three things: rejoice in hope, be patient in suffering, persevere in prayer. Now, if you look at Romans 12, especially from about verse 6 through the end of that chapter, you'll see Paul is listing an extensive number of Christian duties or expectations or virtues that we are to be pursuing, what he calls elsewhere. A lot of the fruit of the Spirit is here in Romans 12 that we read about in Galatians 5. But let's look at these three things. First of all, rejoice in hope. Next year in 2024, when we celebrate our bicentennial, which we'll be doing all throughout the year from January through December, I'm going to be talking about remembering our past, rejoicing in our present. And we are to rejoice in hope. We are to, when you're going through a hard time, remember, we've got hope that God is there with us, that God can help us get through whatever we're going through. And when things are going well, we should be rejoicing in the hope that we have in Christ and how God is blessing us, how we see God active in our lives. But again, this is a thing of where do we place our focus. Rejoice in hope, be patient, patient in suffering. It is no fun suffering, and it's heartbreaking. And you know, we see images on TV every day right now from Palestine, from Ukraine, different situations that come to us in the news, and you see people undergoing great suffering, and it's heartbreaking. And we need to be patient when we're going through a difficult period, because honestly, what choice do we have? Being impatient in suffering is not going to help us get through it. And so we rejoice in hope, celebrate when things are going well. We're patient in suffering. And in all seasons, Paul says, we are to persevere in prayer, because it's having that line of communication between ourselves and God that helps us both to praise and give thanks in times of celebration. It's what enables us to reach out to God in prayer, to cry out even in lament. My God, why have you forsaken me? Or why are you so far from the words of my groaning, as we hear in the Psalms? But those three things go together, and they're part of following Jesus. Rejoice in hope, be patient in suffering, persevere in prayer, never give up.